So tomorrow night, right here on NBC, Dolphins at home trying to rebound from that blowout loss to the Ravens last week. Expect Bills Mafia to show out in Miami. High stakes. Football night in America, kicking things off at 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. As for right now, doing what they do on the PGA Tour, chasing 82 and 67, that would be degrees and strokes.
Doing some pregame here on the night before the big game, 6th of January, anniversary of the 1984 AFC Championship. RK's favorite, Dolphins pummeled Pittsburgh. So, definitely thinking a lot about this game. I wanted Pittsburgh won today, beat Baltimore, so it's a good chance Buffalo is out of the playoffs if the Dolphins can knock them out. Oh, how I would love that. Sunday morning, week 18 in the National Football League. The Dolphins, please win today. Please win. Please win. I said, please win. 32.
This is really where I want to be. Miami. Bills taking on the Dolphins, temperatures in the upper 60s. That's Look at Your Football forecast. Back to you both.
All right. Got perfect weather. Cal, I can't wait for tonight. The Dolphins have never played on January 7th. There's your FYI. 71 in here on 1-7. I predict a Dolphin 23-20 victory tonight.
What are the Eagles saying about
Come on, Dolphins. Let's knock that Buffalo team right out of the playoffs, please.
Right now on ESPN Bet, I like the Bills to win outright. I like Tua to throw a pick and Josh Allen anytime touchdown score. We'll start off with Tua. I think he will throw a pick in this game. He did earlier in the season against the Buffalo Bills. And another thing to keep in mind is just over the last 4 weeks, this defense for the Buffalo Bills has gotten much, much better. They picked off Bailey Zappi last week 3 times, not to mention Patrick Mahomes, also Dak Prescott in that 4-week stretch. So I am looking at Tua to throw at least 1 pick. Then for Josh Allen, anytime touchdown score. This guy, he's punching it in nonstop. He's got 15 touchdowns so far this season. And then just on top of that, because I don't like the spread, just like the Bills outright, keep in mind the Miami Dolphins, man, they have struggled against good teams this season. 1-4 against anybody above 500. 500 or worse, they're 10-1. That's great. You just can't beat anybody good. Now, I know the Bills already beat them by a ton at home. This is a different situation, different things on the line, but I do think the Bills will win this game. Tua will throw a pick. Josh Allen anytime touchdown. You get that at plus 295 right now on ESPN Bet.
much more from Aaron coming up?
Wow, I like that stuff. Bring the haters. I got my team and I ain't switching. They wear aqua and orange.
All right, Tua's going to have to bounce back from that beatdown he got last week because this is the team that beat him down in week 4. Sacked him, threw off his timing, and they better be ready. This beat-up Dolphin defense is coming up against Josh Allen, who's playing great football in terms of you got to deal with this guy as a runner. They're just finding ways to win. Bills, Dolphins, give it to me.
Man, I'm looking 17 weeks this season. Well, they haven't won the division since 2008. They are going to be the 6th seed if they lose to the Bills at home, and there he is in that gorgeous weather at Hard Rock Stadium. Of course, as always, Jeff Darlington. The Finns lost Bradley Chubb last week. They're dealing with a number of key injuries, but they are playing at home where they're 7-2. Why might that be such a critical factor, of course, besides the beautiful weather, Jeff?
Well, I mean, a little bit of a silver lining, Hannah, in the fact that they are playing at home, because when you do look at this matchup with the Bills have pretty much had the Dolphins' number, but they haven't played in Hard Rock Stadium in 16 months. So 3 of the last 4 games between these two teams have kind of come down to the wire. So that, as Mike McDaniel said this week, is a motivating force for this team. They know how well they do play in this venue right here, but we cannot ignore the injuries that have ravaged this Dolphins team on both sides of the ball. And we should point out, on offense, it is not expected that Raheem Mostert at running back and Jalen Waddle at wide receiver will play in this game. That would be the 2nd consecutive game that neither guy could go. The Dolphins essentially know they're in the playoffs. They obviously want to get that number 2 spot and host a game, but they also want to make sure that their players are healthy. Other side of the ball, cornerback Xavier Howard for the Dolphins, also not going to play in this game. So they're going to have an uphill battle, but at least one that will be played on their home turf, Hannah.
Yeah, haven't beaten the good teams this season. We'll see if they can change that narrative in this all-important game today. Thank you, Jeff. Jordan Love and the Packers need a win to get in the playoffs, but coming up, how Justin Fields can spoil the party.
Headed out here at 10:37 in the morning. New phone case, by the way. I love the looks of it. But here's the poster that'll hang up today. Jerome Baker back. Sue and I, first game of the season. Hopefully we're that happy again today. Joe Robbie, thank you for finding this team. He died in 1990 on this date. Guys representing on the ocean side. Huge game. Possibly knock Buffalo out of the playoffs today. Yeah, I can't wait for this one. Wow. What a Sunday. I don't know what's going on in there, but I'm glad I'm not going in there. It is a huge game for the Miami Dolphins. This new snow just reminds me it's playoff weather in Miami. Got to find a way. Tyreek, get open. Tua's going to hit you.
Get in here. I got one thing to say. This is when the big dogs come out. Damn right. There you go. You can't rob the big dogs. Stay on the ball.
Yeah.
Plus, in prime time, the AFC East is decided here. Bills and Dolphins face off in a winner-takes-all scenario. 2 seed up for grabs as Josh Allen takes on Tua in South Florida. Time to get you ready. Sunday NFL Countdown starts right now.
Don't come around very often, and it's here.
One game to win a division.
We greedy, we starving, we won't listen when they play. We're stepping into a very hostile and dangerous situation. The AFC East on the line, so we got to give everything that we got.
Touchdown, Buffalo.
It's a gut check for a football team. I feel very fortunate that I'm not nervous about it.
Presented by Snickers.
Week 18's Hat and T-Shirt Week, and we've got everything you need to know before kickoff today. 7 reporters at 7 different games have you covered. So many key injuries to keep an eye on today. All the different scenarios, we break it all down for you here in Week 18 as we say hello and welcome to Sunday NFL Countdown. On division win in the AFC South. Big game for Trevor Lawrence on the road against the Titans.
Can knock Buffalo out.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. This is Sunday NFL Countdown.
Circle the wagons. Josh Allen takes on the Dolphins with the division on the line. Find out who he reminds the Dolphins of.
This guy is the new John Elway on steroids. And I don't mean he's taking steroids.
And the
Miami Dolphins nursing a whole slew of injuries today. They are unlikely to have both Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle tonight. We know Tyreek Hill will play tonight despite the fact that he was in a walking boot this past week. Xavier Howard already ruled out. And we know that they're without Bradley Chubb and, of course, Jalen Phillips, who they lost earlier this season on the injuries. With that, we bring in our research producer, Evan Kaplan, to tell us what's at stake today. Evan.
All right, Adam. Well, it's all on the line, as Teddy mentioned earlier, in the AFC East. The winner tonight clinches the division title between the Bills and Dolphins, and they also clinch the 2 seed, so they'll be guaranteed 2 home playoff games in the AFC playoffs. If the Dolphins lose, they're the 6th seed in the AFC. They've already clinched their playoff berth. But look at this Bills scenario. If the Bills lose tonight, they would need a Jaguars loss earlier in the day to get into the playoffs. So if the Jaguars win, the Bills are either playing for the 2 seed in the AFC East title or they're out.
And it's just an example of how much is on the line today for teams, for players, and for coaches. If the Bills don't make the playoffs, there are people around the league who believe that there'll be questions about Sean McDermott, but he could win the division. Right. So those questions would then go away. A lot at stake there.
It's fascinating. So we go from the AFC.
Rate him up.
Well, you heard the fellas talking about the
Calm down. You good?
You okay, Ray?
Yeah.
Well, let's take it to Sunday night then, man. The Bills going into Miami. Well, it's all about Coach, offense coordinator Joe Brady and me. The first meeting for the Buffalo Bills, Stephon Diggs 3 receiving touchdowns, but they didn't have Jalen Ramsey. Well, Jalen Ramsey's going to show up tonight where they're missing a corner. Xavier Howard out. So offensive coordinator Joe Brady, I want to know, can you get back to basics with this offense? And the reason why, over the last month, there has been not too many sightings of Stephon Diggs within this offense. So, hat and t-shirt, it's going down. Sunday night football, do you want it, Coach?
How about that? Everybody's looking forward to it, but tonight we find out who's going to clinch the AFC East title in Miami, and the 2 seed. Tua Tagovailoa will try to figure things out against a Bills defense he's struggled with in the past. He's 1-5 against Buffalo in his career, with the same number of touchdown passes and interceptions. That includes a 48-20 loss against the Bills in Week 4 earlier this season. Look, Alex, it's not really to take something away from Tua. He's been great this year. We know what he's capable of. But this Bills team, in the recent past, seems to have a blueprint for this guy. What is it, and why does it work so well against him?
They have played well against him, and it started in Week 4 when they played earlier this season. And really kind of had a dominating performance against Tua. It was the only game this season when he didn't have a completion 20 yards downfield. And here I'm going to take you back to the Week 4. Again, it's 2nd and 1. This is normal down and distance, middle of the field. Look at the roof line of this defense. Look how deep they are. Again, Tua looking to Tyreek. He wants to get it to his playmakers. Look at the depth of the safety. Again, all in an attempt to do this. Get him to move his feet, take the extra hit. This is extra hitch. This is not what he wants to do, move off platform. Again, fast forward to last week against the Ravens, 2nd and 4. Look at the depth.
You can't give him Tyreek deep, Alex.
Look at this. They are not going to let Tyreek behind them. Again, Tua looking to Tyreek, wants to get it to his playmaker. We still have a 10-yard cushion on him here. Again, why? To get Tua. Take the extra hitch. Move, find the check down. Here, it ends up in a sack by Madubuike, right? Like, this is what they want him to do. He's so good at throwing when number 1's up. And the Dolphins adjust.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to stick with what works. We see today if Tua and the Dolphins can adjust on offense. Part of the blueprint always for dealing with a good quarterback is a great pass rush, and we have that today in the Cowboys command.
Coach Shula. Always at the top, baby. Always at the top. The Don.
And I'm not
Best coach ever.
If he does leave New England, he's going to retire at the house. But you have a lot of regret.
Implications. The Miami Dolphins are unlikely to have Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle later on. We'll see if there's a way they can push through in pregame warmups and get out there somehow, some way. But keep in mind, the Dolphins are without their top pass rushers, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, both out for the year. No Xavier Howard tonight, and it looks like they'll have to try to find a way to win the AFC East title without Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle, unless one of them can make an unlikely comeback tonight, Sam.
I'm going to be honest, Adam, that all felt really negative. Just bad news.
Miami's going to play a good game. Miami's going to play a good game.
Positive.
I'm going to give you some good news. In one of the games
on the road, we shall be. Let's get to the primetime game tonight in South Florida. Bills Mafia, man, can they travel? Especially when it's this time of year and they can go down to South Florida. That's a yes.
Circled for months.
Yes, they have. And for good reason, because this one is for the division. The winner in Miami clinches the AFC East and a number 2 seed in the AFC. If the Dolphins lose, they'll be the 6th seed as one of the wild cards. But if the Bills lose, they'll need a Jags loss earlier in the day, of course, to get in. Otherwise, Buffalo's season will end tonight. You know who we have there? Of course, who we have there is Jeff Dolan.
Of course,
and I knew he was going to be in some sort of spring
he's roughing it
to really rub it in that we're stuck in the snow up here. What's the latest down in Florida, Jeff?
It's so mean, but it was so strategic, Sam. Look, down here, obviously, we know the magnitude of this game for the Bills, but it is important for the Dolphins. That being said, they've already clinched the playoffs, so when it comes to some of these injuries, they are taking a slightly more conservative approach. Check out this laundry list of injuries facing the Dolphins right now, and take note of the offensive side of the ball. Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle are both unlikely to play in this game after missing last week's game as well. They want to get these guys fully healthy in time for the playoffs. You see that Tyreek Hill will play despite an ankle issue that's continuing to plague him a bit. Josh Allen, and the importance of what the Bills are trying to accomplish tonight. Josh Allen has been outstanding against the Dolphins. 12 consecutive games against this team with 2 or more touchdowns. That is an NFL record, a long streak against any single opponent. Now, we also know, though, that the Dolphins do play well at home. So they're 7-1 this season. It is not as if the Bills can just go run all over the Dolphins on this field. It feels like advantage Bills right now because of that laundry list of injuries, but Mike McDaniel has been telling his team all week, adversity is opportunity. A great game here at Hard Rock Stadium, Sam.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm glad you threw in that last note about them being good at home because it just feels like a lot of bad news for this Miami team. And we saw that list of injuries right there, and they've been dealing with that the last few weeks, Teddy. How can they overcome the injury issues in Miami today?
I almost think it's too much for them, really, against a Buffalo Bills team that's surging. I mean, you talk about new life. I just talked about the Dallas Cowboys and their new life in terms of what happened last week. The Buffalo Bills, and now what can happen today in terms of winning the AFC East and securing the playoff spot there is actually incredible. They got to be riding high right there to go and win. But fellas, it's about matchups today, isn't it? And the way that Joe Brady's been calling that offense for the Buffalo Bills. Love the way they've been using James Cook. You know, and that's what they have to really
had 3 touchdowns receiving against this defense. But wait a minute. Xavier Howard played. Jalen Ramsey didn't.
Right.
So what's going to change in this game tonight? Xavier Howard's out. Jalen Ramsey's in. So you're talking about the matchup. I want to see what Vic Fangio is going to do with this defense. And the reason why I say the matchup with Stephon Diggs is because now you got Eli Apple on the other side. You're not going to let Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs prey on Eli Apple. So I want to see how is Jalen Ramsey going to be able to cover a guy by Stephon Diggs. You're talking about offensive coordinator Joe Brady. The reason why I'm calling out Stephon Diggs is because I said first game, 3 touchdowns. Over the last month, Stephon Diggs has had 1 game with 30 yards receiving. So those other 3,
he wants it.
So for me, in a game like this, you talking about hat and t-shirt game, it's a must-see. Josh Allen getting Stephon Diggs started early and often. I want to see this matchup.
Well, you mentioned the offense coordinator, Joe Brady. Everything points to a Bills victory. There's no reason they shouldn't win this game. Absolutely no reason. All right? So if I'm Miami, how about we run the football? We take the air out of the football. We pound this thing about 40 times. That's the only way you're going to steal it. We saw it. You guys had a great film wall. You guys showed how deep those safeties play. And can we please run the ball against that? We got him out, man. Just run it.
Rex, I thought you were Josh
The
Allen.
Dolphins are 4-0 off a loss. They have not lost 2 straight this year. They seem to find a way to bounce back after a showing like they had last week. We'll see if they're able to do it at home today. But Alex, you are.
And that means the playoff picture is almost complete. In the AFC, the Ravens have wrapped up the #1 seed, followed by the Dolphins, who are eyeing the division title tonight.
Let's get it, 23-20.
Sitting pretty at 3.
Bolt has 31-21 Dolphins. Alex has 32-28. Thank you for your support, Bolt. I just hope you're right.
You have to go up and you have to do it again to get to Las Vegas. But the Super Bowl run is like a Super Bowl ring. It's loaded with diamonds. You want to play blackjack? You got to ski the double flats. Break a leg, boys. Woo!
Shout out to my guy.
Wait, Nate.
I got that too, baby.
He was thinking about himself skiing backwards down the hill. I've never been skiing, never will. But, this Bills-Dolphins game, let's look at the quarterbacks. They've had 6 games head-to-head. Josh Allen, 5-1 over Tua. Look at the yards. Josh Allen, 19 touchdowns, only 4 turnovers.
Got to change that tonight, Tua.
Bills offense. They have been running the football great. James Cook is on fire. Josh Allen running the football too. Deion Dawkins, as we're watching pass to Stephon Diggs for the touchdown. Josh Allen running, but Deion Dawkins, your left tackle, he has been tremendous.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too, the one thing I worry about, Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, you got to make sure you keep Josh Allen in the groove, the rhythm of the game.
Yeah.
And I would say let's open it up a little bit, maybe earlier in the game, because they can close the game with this running game. But the defensive side, they are getting healthier and they are getting better. When you talk about what they're doing, they're sitting there 2nd in takeaways, 4th in points, 3rd in sacks. And Sean McDermott, and they had some pickups this offseason. Rasul Douglas comes in when their corners
Making it all sound Buffalo. I get it, Goat. I get it. It's okay.
Outside rusher. Von Miller has
Come on, Dolphins. Make me believe.
But right now, that defense is flying around, and this team is healthy, unlike the Miami team they're going against this week. I mean, tonight.
Yeah, you're spot on. You know, Miami is limping their way through the finish line a little bit. They got beat up not only last week against the Ravens, but you got Mostert and Waddle. I mean, they're listed as doubtful, probably won't play. I mean, this is a team that needs this win, and they need to win just to have the correct momentum going into postseason. The only good thing is at home, they are 71, JJ.
Yeah, you talk about momentum. Early in this season, middle of this season, their team talked about as that #1 seed.
Yeah.
That's a lot of excitement, expectation, and pressure. Now there's a chance they might be the 6th seed. They also lost Bradley Chubb. They lost Jalen Phillips. That pressure can start to weigh on you as a team.
You start to wonder, like, if all of a sudden they get behind this game, they know they're in. Do you start to take some of these guys out because of what just happened last week with Bradley Chubb? So it'd be interesting decisions down there with Mike McDaniel.
Nate, your good friend Kyle
The
Ray.
Dolphins in prime time. Who wins it in Miami, Rex?
The Bills win it, and the Bills win it because of Josh Allen. He owns this team right here. Anytime he goes up against Miami, he has a monster day. So does Stephon Diggs. I hope Miami will get the matchup we want with Jalen Ramsey against Diggs. But if we don't, Diggs is going to go crazy in this one. And the Dolphins just too beat up, so I'll take the Bills.
You know, with all the injuries offensively for the Miami Dolphins, it's the same thing I think is going to hurt them. Like last week against the Ravens, the pre-snap motion, who you're going to respect, the guy in motion or Tyreek standing right there. With that said today, you give me the Buffalo Bills. It'll be a tough one tonight, but I'm going with Josh Allen and the Bills.
I'm with the Bills as well. You said it, Rex. I think the Dolphins are just too beat up. I think they're kind of licking their wounds. They're turning their attention toward the playoffs. Yeah. It's win or go home for the Bills. It's now or never, and I think they get it done.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins know that. Dolphins know that they're beat up. Dolphins know they need a week of rest. I think they go out there with that motivation, like, Coach, how long are you going to keep me in? I mean, I think that's the wrong mentality to have in this situation, but still, it's obvious. They're incredibly beat up. Darlington said they're resting some guys for the playoffs. What message is that sending to everyone? The Bills are going to go in there, and I think this is an easy win for Buffalo.
I'm afraid to agree with all of you because that feels like the kiss of death, but I'm also with you on the Bills. I think your point about all the injuries is really just what seals the deal, even though they haven't ever lost 2 straight this season, so I do it reluctantly, but I'm going with the Bills. We're all
I'm all right.
Buffalo today. Coming up after us.
I'm all right with that.
The winner of that one will be crowned East champ and be the #2 seed. If Buffalo loses, they could miss the playoffs entirely.
Yeah, Buffalo will lose. Of course, they missed the playoff. For Miami, they've already clinched a playoff position. But it's either 2 or 6. So 2, they're guaranteed a home game. If they end up at 6, they have to travel to Kansas City to win, which is not an easy thing to do. But here's the team, the Dolphins, that have not won the division since 2008. And we know offensively about Tua. We know about Hill. We know about Mostert. But defensively is where they're really hurting right now. Nick Chubb. They lost Nick Chubb. Jalen Phillips was out. He blew his Achilles out playing against the Jets. Xavier Howard, that's another question mark for them. He is at the cornerback position. But this is a big game for them because the 2 to the 6 seed and the opportunity that you have playing at home in front of your crowd in the comfort zone of not having to travel to a tough environment like Kansas City, I think that this team has to really put everything they have into this game. They're 10-2 against Josh Allen. That's not a good thing for them. But you don't want a division opponent to creep in because, that come back to haunt you.
A Buffalo Bills season is on the line, and they are vying for the #2 seed. Or if they lose, they may possibly be out of the playoffs, like you said. And that's surprising that they are even in this position at this time on Week 18. And then on top of that, they have absolutely dismantled the Miami Dolphins when they faced each other prior to this year, 48-20, and due to the ability of putting pressure on Tua. And when Tua has pressure, just like you, Terry.
No, not like
yes,
this.
just like you. He's kind of incapable of getting that ball out to his wide receivers.
That's not true.
I'm just kidding. Not like you, Terry.
Under pressure.
I'm just messing with you. But Josh Allen has a lead in 42 touchdowns, but he's also his own worst enemy with 19 turnovers this year. So if Josh Allen can protect the ball, expect the Bills to win and get that #2 seed and do some damage at home in the playoffs.
Ron, you're getting way too comfortable.
Come on, Dolphins. Come on.
I love you.
That's a love shot.
Cheering actually for the green team. Belichick doesn't need another win. He needs to be fired.
They're laughing at you. They think you're weak. Show them 11. Show them.
This is
Here's offensive coordinator Frank Smith.
Working with Mike has been like a dream come true for me, just because it's like when you watch someone prior their body of work and you just see like from afar like what he's done, and then be able with the same agent Richmond Flowers, he connected us in the summertime, and then be able to work with him has like been awesome, because there's so many principles that you believe in philosophically with football we do every day, and we just have such a natural alignment on the way we see so many things. That's why our communication is.
Ramsey shadowing Diggs. A lot of talk about that. Check this out. Jacksonville looking to tie it up on the road. This would be huge. I would love the Dolphins to host Pittsburgh. Win.
The best thing about being a believer of Jesus Christ, like to me, is that good Lord up above doesn't care whether you win a game, whether you lose a game. And for me, it's been a little tough having to play on Sundays, having to understand that, not able to go to church. Really, a lot of it is having to watch church online after games and things like that. To me, it's the best thing in the world to be able to profess my faith, something that I firmly believe in. So when I'm out there, like,
I love the quarterback we have for the Dolphins. God, you can't beat him. Real.
I'm on the sideline. Looks like I'm talking to myself, speaking in tongues. I grew up in a non-denominational Christian church my entire life. Yeah, like that. I mean, it does a lot. And so.
This is an important kick, because now it's at least in terms of.
Jacks go up 13-3, third quarter, 7:11 left. Cheering for the Jags.
And now a timeout for 4th and 2. Lawrence to the air, incomplete over the head of Ingram. Tennessee will take over in Jacksonville. Cannot stop the clock. Houston Texans are all locked up. The
Locked in.
Browns was locked up coming into today. It's the Dolphins versus the Bills for the division championship. And if the Bills lose that game, I believe it flip-flops the 2 seeds in the AFC at the bottom between the Steelers and the Bills.
There it is. Good riddance.
I think that
See you later.
could be the first tell you. The game doesn't do anybody.
Shula is king.
It's just an honor to be able to coach the game, and certainly the ending may not be the way.
That's it. 4-win season. Doesn't want to listen to anybody. Arrogant. Can't stand arrogance.
And the Jets finally, after
Can't stand it. See ya.
6 victories, 6 Super Bowls. The winningest head coach
Short of Shula.
history, and he leaves the field for what?
Right there. We just got our ass whooped. That's a fact. That's a fact. But that's cool. Get it back. Get it back. Get it back. Tell Tua. Get it back. Tell Cheetah. Get it back. Tell Raheem. Get it back. Tell the team. Get it back. Now we got Buffalo up. That's a fact. That's a fact. But you can tell they fans. It's a rap. It's a rap. Tell Waddle. Get it back. Tell McDaniel. Get it back. Chubbs and Phillips. Get it back. DWA. Let's get it back. Fresh up out the loss. No, I don't want to talk about it. Shout out to Lamar, though. The crib gotta talk about it. Buffalo coming, ain't no question, make a target on them. Cook the players like some wings, we gon' make some sauce out of them. Playoff time, but we ain't trying to play with y'all. They say we fraudulent, but we gon' make them say they frauds. Defense hungry, so they offense gotta take a charge. Zach Steeler got Allen on the radar. Christian Wilkins hunting with him, call him salt and pepper. Defense, hit squad, pushing hard together. Got our ball off the air, so you best believe we gon' lead that game with the second seed. We just got our ass whooped, that's a fact, that's a fact. But that's cool, get it back, get it back.
That was whack, but we ain't worried about that. I was back with Buffalo, wild ring, the full of rap. Josh Allen get him sacked, blitz face flat. They be hating, but that simply is opinion, not fact. Tariq Hill, a racetrack, Jalen Ramsey like that. We got 6 Pro Bowlers, all of them soldiers. Fins win, but for the Bills, it's over. They got us to lose, but they got us confused. One play touchdown, Oz and ooze. Tua too smooth, McDaniel that dude. Jason Sanders kicking from here to the moon. I'm repping my crew, you know what it do. We getting the loot.
That's a fact, that's a fact. But that's cool, get it back, get it back, get it back. Tell Tua, get it back. Tell Cheetah, get it back. Tell Raheem, get it back. Tell the team, get it back. Now we got.
Curious whether Dolphin fans prefer a rematch at home against Buffalo or next week, or a trip to Kansas City. I say Buffalo rematch. 74%.
And a turnover on downs.
Jackrabbits.
One more deal down to come for SDSU. And there it is. The Gatorade on top of the head coach. And all smiles finally. And of course, it's Ranowski under center, and that will do it. Time ticking away in Frisco. Back-to-back Jacks. And South Dakota State wins another national championship.
This is good stuff. You can start.
Back at Miami, we're set to start this final regular season game for the Bills and the Dolphins.
Now let's begin. There are a lot of rivalries in the National Football League. Some just make more sense than others. Buffalo is a football town, all about hard work and toughness. But Miami's got the weather and football. Come on, everybody loves it here. The speed, the stars, the excitement. And it never gets old. When we played, no opponent mattered more than the Bills, than the Dolphins. Here we go.
13 degrees. It's game day, baby. Sunday night football. Fins up. 23-20. Defense does the job tonight. Ramsey, 2 interceptions. Maybe 2 touchdowns, too.
Huge play by the Bills. And a team that's absolutely electric and ready to take that next step forward. That is an explosive offense. Big-time players. Yeah. Big-time stars. The playoffs and a division title at stake. One last kickoff on one last Sunday night. Dolphins, Bills. Let's go.
Break in the third quarter and the other 6 games at the half. It's time for the Sunday night preview. One more game this evening. Sunday night football on NBC. The Miami Dolphins hosting the Buffalo Bills. The winner takes the AFC East Championship. The loser is an AFC wildcard team. Game 272 of the National Football League's regular season. Let's do the Sunday. Really ran up the score. They handled Miami, I guess we should say, in the earlier parts of the season in their game in Buffalo. Josh Allen has rushed for 40 or more yards 5 times this season, and Tua Tagovailoa has 282 passing yards in that Week 4 loss to Buffalo. Don't forget, on DraftKings, $50 in bonus bets instantly.
I'm picking this
Plus,
team.
all new customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Download the app.
Come on. It came to see. Show them something, 17. Everybody bring your best. You understand? Prime time. 1 week season from here on out. Go Bills. Let's tune in a lot. Everybody watching. The Buccaneers win our 3rd consecutive. The party led by the rookie quarterback. They're off to the AFC playoffs. We did not get in, and the Jags will be turned away here. It's showtime. Yeah, are you not entertained? It's showtime.
It is showtime for the final time of the regular season, and the AFC East is on the line. Tua and the Dolphins in search of their first division title in 15 years against Josh Allen and the Red Hot. Earlier, Devin, in Tennessee.
What a collapse by Jacksonville. Right here, Trevor Lawrence tries to call his own number and reach over the top. And just short the way their season ended.
The division, if they won that game, now Houston wins the AFC South. So looking at it right now, as mentioned, the winner of our game will win the AFC East. They'll be the 2 seed. If the Dolphins lose, they'll be the 6 seed. They'll visit Kansas City next weekend. If the Bills, welcome to Football Night in America. Chris Sims, Ahmed Fareed, Devin McCourty, Jason Garrett. We got so much to get to. We got papers everywhere. We got so much thoughts in our mind. We laid out what's going on in the AFC. A lot happening right now in the NFC. New Orleans Saints, despite a win today, they are eliminated as well with that Green Bay win. The Rams in, but win the division with a win in this game. The Texans win the AFC South. They will host the Cleveland Browns. We know that the Chiefs are going to be the 3 seed. They will host one of these 3 teams. It'll only be the Buffalo if Buffalo ends in a tie tonight. Otherwise, you know the stakes tonight. It's for the AFC East title, and watching with keen interest
Pittsburgh, because if Miami wins, Pittsburgh will be going to Kansas City. If Miami loses, it'll be Pittsburgh going to Buffalo, and it'll be Miami who has to go to Arrowhead Stadium. And what's the difference between the two in this wild card here, winning the AFC East or getting the wild card? Statistically significant. If Buffalo can win the AFC East, our PFF model says they got a 27% shot of going to the Super Bowl, winning the AFC. The Dolphins, meanwhile, if they win the division, 16% to win the AFC, only 6% as a wild card. So big, big statistical stakes tonight, too.
Yeah, so we know the playoff teams right now, just don't know the travel schedules, where each team is flying, including our game tonight will dictate a lot. Let's get it down to Miami, Southern Florida. Jack, Tony, and Rodney.
The AFC East on the line, and the winner tonight earns the opportunity to host back-to-back home games in the playoffs, and that is big, Coach.
That is huge. Talking to both teams, coaches and players, they heard all that stuff that Steve talked about. The head coach has said, don't worry about that. Win this game, 2 home games, that's all that counts. This is for hats and T-shirts tonight.
Coach is getting pretty excited. I look at the Bills, and the Bills are finally built for the playoffs. You look on the defense side. I think it's the best thing. I mean, there's nothing else more that he can accomplish. He gave New England everything that he had, a bunch of championships, 24 years. Personally,
Go back to Miami and Jack.
All right, I'm out here in Miami. Tua Tagovailoa on pace to become the first Dolphins quarterback to lead the NFL in passing yards since Dan Marino back in 1992. Good company there for Tua. And tonight it may come down to which quarterback can steal the show as it typically does. But how can the defenses get them out of rhythm, you believe?
Well, what you have to do against both of these offenses, Rodney, is get the quarterbacks off of their first read. Don't let them get rid of the ball quick. And in the first game, there was a big difference when that happened.
I thought the Buffalo Bills defense did a great job of forcing Tua to hold the ball, making them come off the first look. These are corners played really aggressive because they had the safeties backing them up. But that's the way you have to play them, very aggressive.
And Miami wants to do the same thing with Buffalo, but the whole message from their coaching staff to their players is when we do that, we've got to plaster. We've got to stay with them because Josh Allen created. He got out of the pocket and made big plays. So Miami, get him off his first read, but you got to stay with him.
And tackle.
And make some tackles.
And open field.
You get Josh Allen off that first read.
The hold is good. The kick is wide to the right. It's no good. And Seattle gets a 21. Touchdown!
With a second down and goal. Oh, look at that! Trouble pass entry! Breaks a tackle, dives for 6.
Incredible play design. It looks like they're going to do a quick little reverse. It's a no-look show pass. Tua's looking at Tyreek the whole time and just blindly flips it with his right hand forward. Excellent play design and execution. For the end zone.
To get good field position here. Tyler Wallace from the 25. Tyler Wallace breaks out of the tackle, takes it down the sideline. He stays in bounds. He stays in.
Best play we saw on NFL Red Zone. And hey, thousands of more to come again in September. Here's the way we are stacking the AFC wildcard matchups. These will be the playoff matchups, Browns and Texans head-to-head, if the Miami Dolphins win on Sunday Night Football. The 2 seed, they would take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chiefs and Dolphins, the Tyreek Hill Invitational would take place at Arrowhead, and the Texans and Browns, which is already a fixed match, and the Dolphins. And oh, by the way, our folks here in the studio and in the control room just run the calculations. The draft order, we leave you with a look at all of the hard-working women and men that make this happen. Here is our team photo. We took it about 30 minutes before kickoff here this afternoon on our campus at NFL Media here in Inglewood, California. Alan Flowers, we love you, doing all the right things there. Mark and Audio, Justin and Esther and Greg and Tim and Brian and Sid and Marcus and everybody. I wish I could name everybody there. I love football. You love football. And we are thankful that you love NFL Red Zone so very much. More than 200 games we've shown you since week 1 in September. Over 950 total touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of the road for this season. But on to the playoffs. We leave you as we always do with one more look at every touchdown from every game presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Good night God bless, and we will see you in September.
Play from scrimmage. They're pulling on all the stops. Renner pulls it. He's going to run. Now looking to pass to the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Jonnu Smith. Victor Montgomery. Wide open Laporta. Easy touchdown for the Lions. Tonight, and a reminder, our Saturday night game is streaming exclusively on Peacock. You can scan the QR code right now if you have not already signed up for that streaming service. We got a football night alert. After the Cowboys win,
points and yards, plus both Xavier Howard, Bradley Chubb got hurt. So how do you view Miami's defense right now?
Coach Fangio, he has to be concerned about his defense, the injuries, and just the miscommunication. And the miscommunication happened between two veteran players. This is free safety, Javon Holland and Jalen Ramsey. This is easy. Two guys on two wide receivers. Javon, just make a call. I got the inside guy. Whoever it is, watch Jalen Ramsey after the play. He gets visibly upset because he's telling him, yes, coach, like, just make a call so we can all be on the same page. And the very next play, you get a backup linebacker, Duke Riley, instead of going...
You don't have your best cover corner, Howard. Yep. Well, but to play zone, you have to be able to rush the passer. You don't have your best pass rusher, Bradley Chubb. Knowing Coach Fangio like we know him, that could mean more blitzes tonight.
Coach, I think you're spot on. I think it's going to be a lot more pressure. He's not going to sit back and allow Buffalo to do their thing.
And on the positive side, injury-wise, linebacker Jerome Baker was activated yesterday off injury reserve. Could help with some of those wheel routes you just showed us right there. As well as Melvin Ingram going to be elevated off the practice squad again, trying to help pass rush.
Don't forget about Andrew Van Ginkel, too. He could play.
Having a really good year. As we send it back in, Tom and Free.
All right, thank you, Jack. The complete
Applebee's. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood. And by Mercedes-Benz.
AFC East rivalry renewed tonight. Bills and Dolphins.
Oh, okay. All right, Danny. Danny's getting sacked by Bruce Smith.
Yeah.
It's bringing back memories of my childhood right here.
The all-time great.
Thurman Thomas. Danny can throw the ball in the snow. I know that. He can throw it anywhere.
These teams met last year in the playoffs. Could meet this year in the playoffs as well. Let's get to some more highlights.
Hook has found the kitchen. Wow, big kills, man. A-Chan, the man. Good night.
This is Football Night in America. Served by Applebee's.
It is all on the line in this one. Getting us up for Bills and Dolphins in Miami. Time now for our DraftKings Sportsbook 3-play with our friend Matthew Berry. Hello, Matthew.
Hey, Ahmed, thanks so much. Listen,
but it has been a little bit of a struggle recently for that Miami Dolphins offense.
well, we've seen defenses that have a good front four, well coached, have a plan, that you can play the Dolphins in certain areas. And I think that's what we're seeing like last week with the Ravens. They adjust. They like to spread you out kind of horizontally.
Teams that hate each other.
I don't think at this point Miami really gives us the respect that we deserve.
So Tua Tagovailoa put together a career year, but it's time to prove that he can make it happen in January. Be a big start tonight.
Wherever he goes, whether he's in the slot or inside, if he's out wide, you don't want Cater Kohu or Eli Apple trying to follow him.
And on the other side, Tyreek Hill is the big man, the weapon for the Dolphins. Speed, we watched him run. Thought he might have a little ankle situation. He was flying in pregame, Rob.
This fear is unbelievable. Half the fans, this feels like I'm in Buffalo. It feels like half the fans are Buffalo Bills fans. It's incredible.
And talking to both coaching staffs for the Miami Dolphins, they talked about running the football, making sure Buffalo honors the run. And Buffalo talked about collapsing the pocket and not letting Tua on his first read.
We'll see if those safeties can stay back for the Buffalo Bills defense or if they're going to have to start creeping in. And then look out for those big shots down the field.
So, of course, the winner tonight will host a playoff game. The climates couldn't be more different between these two cities as we feel. But both teams are 7-1 on their home field, so it's a big deal as we send it back in. Tom and Free.
Exclusively on Peacock. You cannot watch that on NBC.
Come on, Dolphins. I don't want you to go to Kansas City. I want you in Miami for 2 weeks.
The number 2 seed.
Come on, boys.
On the line, the AFC East.
On the line in our game, Bills and Dolphins just moments.
God, they look great.
First, best of week 18. If you're watching this game as a Chief right now,
Yeah.
what are you rooting for?
I want the Dolphins to win. I'd rather play the Steelers. Yeah, the Chiefs have struggled on offense. I'd be worried about Tyreek Hill, one reverse, one slant. All of a sudden, we're behind and we can't catch up with the points.
Here's one note, too. It's going to be in the 10s next weekend in Kansas City. So if you're Buffalo, if you're Miami, you probably want to avoid 10s, although maybe Buffalo.
They'll be okay with that.
So, Chris, your pick.
I'm on the Bills as well. I think they know, Sean McDermott knows how to defend this Miami Dolphins offense.
They just found out it's going to be in the 10s in Kansas City. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Buffalo as well. Last week, I didn't pick Jordan Love.
Josh Allen plays great against these guys.
Right.
And I just take Buffalo going down there and getting this win.
Matthew.
Yeah, I have to agree with Coach and Chris Sims here. I don't think they're going to be able to get pressure on Josh Allen. I think he picks them apart. I think it's close and lower scoring than people think. But give me the Buffalo Bills, Mike Florio.
Unleash Josh Allen as a passer and as a runner. Throw caution to the win and get that 2 seed. I like the Bills. Jack Collinsworth.
Yeah, fellas, I think Joe Brady has redesigned the Bills offense for a playoff run since taking over as a play caller. I'm going Buffalo, right?
I'm looking at the Dolphins defense. I think they're going to play a lot better than what they played last week. Jalen Ramsey walked up to me and told me he's going to set the tone, so I expect big things. But I got to go with the Buffalo Bills, Coach.
All right. Well, I'm taking the Dolphins. They talked about their offensive line being healthy.
Tony.
Football and use their speed tonight.
Hard to believe. Season finale. We are set for the season finale, Alvin.
Over to you. Good to be with Tony. I'm happy that I'm with Tony.
That's a good feeling for you.
You're with us, though. You should be happy about that.
Those were tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. The 272nd and final game of the regular season. Winner against the AFC East in a home playoff game. The number 2 seed
272
in South Florida. Dolphins. Where else would you rather be?
Sunday Night Football, everybody watching. It's Sunday night. Waiting all day for Sunday night. All night, what a night, it's finally here. Sunday Night Football's kicking in to have to go down. The stadium's rocking, time to crank up the sound. The NFL's best have come to play. Coast to coast, it's just one day for Sunday night. The top get up in a primetime fight. More than a game, it's everything's right. That's why we're waiting all day for Sunday night.
Here we go.
Come on, Dolphins.
Temperature in the 60s in South Florida on the final night of the NFL regular season. Hard Rock Stadium is the site, and this game is for the championship of the AFC East, hosted by the 11-5 Miami Dolphins. And their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, taking on their rival, Josh Allen, and the 10-6 Buffalo Bills on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Thanks for having us in. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark. Great one coming up here tonight. The winner is the number 2 seed. They'll play a home game. And given the geography of Miami and Buffalo, that is a big deal. Chris, 37 last Sunday, so how big a concern is that?
Well, Baltimore has been kicking everybody they've been playing, so maybe not that big a concern. But these Dolphins, they've got some really key injuries now on both sides of the ball. So you begin to think about what has to happen tonight.
This one's for the division title. The Bills and Dolphins.
Come on, Dolphins. I need this one. I need it. Come on.
Ryan Racky and Mike Golick at Hard Rock Stadium when we return. You're listening to Sunday Night Football on Westwood One.